Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about the backends for frontends pattern. This is one of the cloud design patterns and it comes under the category of design and implementation. This pattern was first proposed by Sam Newman, and this pattern says that creating separate backend services to be consumed by specific front-end interface or applications. So this pattern is useful when you want to customize a single backend for multiple interfaces. If you just look at these diagrams, we have our desktop applications and desktop front end, and it uses desktop backend service, and we have mobile applications, and the mobile applications front end interfaces uses mobile application backend service. So rather than having one separate backend service for both these two interfaces, we have created two separate services, one for each interface. So normally we always have one backend service for any kind of interfaces, but if you have applications and the desktop user grows and there are a lot of mobile users, then you might have to create separate services for providing the features for a mobile user interfaces. For example, we are displaying some search results on an applications, and for the desktop for the web interfaces, you are going to display more. Assume that you are going to display more informations, and for mobile display, you are not going to display more information. Instead, you are going to display summary of information. So you will have two endpoints, two services, not services, RESTful services, I would say. So one RESTful endpoint provides detailed informations, and another RESTful endpoint provides summary information. So you have to maintain these two endpoints on our service. So it's okay, but going forward, maintaining those two services, it's always a challenge. It always creates a lot of maintenance issues. So you have to have a separate model objects for your summary endpoint, and for the detailed endpoints you might have to create a separate model objects, and you have to call different backend services, different service implementations for the summary endpoint, and for the detailed endpoint you might have to create a different services. So after a long run, it's very difficult for us to maintain one code base with all these things. So and also it'll take a lot of time for backend developers to create everything. So what happens if we just create a separate backend for desktop application user interface, and create a separate backend services for mobile application interface? So there will be two teams who two separate backend teams can work on these features, so that the development won't be impacted, and they can maintain small code base and then just create only the services needed for the corresponding front end services. If we do this, it will be easy to maintain, and also it has a lot of advantages. And if there are a lot of users accessing mobile user interface, then what we can do is we can selectively scale the mobile backend alone. So that has a lot of advantages, and we can use any kind of frameworks, languages to develop the backend. So for example, if the team is good at Scala, Scala language, then we can create a backend service with Scala, and there are a lot of frameworks with using Scala. So, and if the team is good at Java, then we can use Spring MVC or JS servlets to create the backend services, and the code base becomes smaller, and we can easily maintain it. So this is one of the this is the main advantage of using this pattern. And when not to use this pattern. So if you have if you have a backend, and then that backend is being used by both your desktop applications and also mobile applications, and your displays is always the same, means then you should not be using this pattern. Because if there is any change in display or any change in business logic or anything, means then you need to think about this pattern. But if it's not, then you should be avoid using this pattern. um, so whenever you are using this pattern, you should always remember that if there is any change in display, means yes, we can think about using this pattern. If it's not, always sticks to the same approach, like having one backend for any kind of client interfaces and all. And so there is always a disadvantage using this pattern, means like we are going to repeat the same logic over and over again. So we can think about creating a we can think about moving all the business logic to some other layer, to so that it could be shared by both these two different backend interfaces. Yep, you need to think about all those things. Yeah, so this is a nice patterns. And I can leave my blogs link in this art in this video descriptions. And if you have any questions, please feel free to add comments in this video. Thank you.